Hi guys, welcome to another live trading video with Optionables. My name is Saket and today we are going to review the trades taken on 10th of June 2021. So today we had a loss of 2,50,000 and this was more of a natural loss. So unlike what we had on Monday of around 20,000 when PM Modi's speech announcement came and IV shot up, right? So this was more of a natural loss. So you actually didn't do anything wrong specifically, but you still ended up with a loss. So this was more or less on the expected lines because last week, if you remember, we had almost 7 to 8 consecutive winning streak. So that eventually had to be broken and we were expecting to go to a loss sometime this week. And that happened today. And even if we expect 2 to 3 days losing streak, it won't be surprising. And what exactly happened? So there is nothing specifically which you can point out and tell this is where we made the mistake. But what did we do good? So we were very strict with our risk management rule. So you guys know that we usually follow this risk limit of 1.5 to 2% of the capital. For the capital we trade, it will be around 3.5 to 5 lakh as the risk limit. So today we ended up cutting our losses at 1% of our capital, which is 2.5 lakh. So we properly planned our trade. So we first cut all the trades at 1,40,000 and then we risked one more lakh in the final trade. So unfortunately that trade went bad for us and we ended up losing one more lakh. And we finally ended with an overall loss of 2,50,000. So I hope you guys are liking the content on this channel. Please do hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel. And one more thing guys, whenever we make a loss video, we will make sure that we will post it on the same day because like if we make a profit video, not just us, there are hundreds of YouTubers who will only show you profits, but there are a handful of them who will also show you losses. So whenever we make a loss video, we are going to post it on the same day. And in case if we skip posting a live trading video, maybe that day you can consider we have a profit. So this is something else I wanted to tell you. And now let's see how exactly we ended up with a loss. Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today we had a loss of 2,50,000 and for this I will add another 12,500 as brokerage, and you can see that our P&L takes a big dip to 6,25,000. So we have achieved 2.5% of our total target. We are yet to achieve another 2.5% more by month end. And so unlike Monday where we had a 20,000 loss due to spike in IV, so this is a natural loss. Like I mean to say natural as in it's a more of a normal loss. So today there was no extraordinary event. So just that the trading didn't go well and we had a loss. So you can observe one thing here. We made sure that we cut our losses down to 1% of our capital. And I keep mentioning it over and over again that risk management is the key, and usually we never lose more than 1 to 2% of our capital in a particular trade. So today we lost 1% of our capital, and that is pretty fine. It is going to take us around 2 to 3 days to recover, and again we'll be back to profit. So this is not an issue at all. So we will still stick to our same target of 5% and we'll try to achieve 12.5 lakh by end of this month. So I'll be quickly moving on to charts and we will have a look at what exactly happened today. So today we took trades in both Nifty as well as BankNifty. Morning session we were mainly in Nifty, and afternoon session we shifted towards BankNifty. And I'm going to explain what exactly happened in both the cases. So Nifty morning we entered around 9:30, 9:45 itself. Usual entry what we take, and then the market consolidated more or less around the same range. So what did we take? We ended up taking 700 short straddle. So we had sold 700 call option as well as 700 put option. So we sold it around the range of 32. So I had sold the call option at 32 rupees and I had sold the 700 put option at almost 41 rupees. I got it at this price because you can see that when I entered the trade, Bank Nifty was trading slightly lower to 700. That's the reason I got the put option at higher price. And afterwards what I did was I had also purchased a hedge leg at 600 rupees. This is because morning Nifty looked little weak and I just bought a protection on the downside. Later, more or less the market consolidated and around 1 o'clock is when we took the Bank Nifty entry also. At this point, we had a profit of around 30k in Nifty. So we had a profit of around 30k in Nifty, and finally around 115, 130 we also exited Nifty, and we only focused on Bank Nifty. So this is all the Nifty trade. So these were the two entries which we did. C around 32, P around 41. I think if I'm not wrong, 41 or 43. And then we also came out of the trade with more or less no profit or no loss. We were at 30k at this point, and when the spike came, we came out with a no profit or no loss. So later we shifted to Bank Nifty, and we will see what exactly happened there. So that is where the major part of the trading happened during the last hour. So this is the chart of Bank Nifty, and again at 10 o'clock we had entered very small quantity and we just came out. So we again came out with a no profit or no loss. So this is more or less nothing, so we won't consider this trade. The main trade comes around 1 o'clock as well as 2 o'clock. This is where we start shorting options. So around 1 o'clock we end up shorting 34,900 calls and puts. So around 1 o'clock we end up shorting this. So as you can see here, not long after we shorted the option, there was a huge spike in Bank Nifty. We shorted 34,900 calls and puts around 110 and 110, and we had kept a stop loss. So this is 110 and 110, and we had kept a stop loss for both of this at around 195, 190 to 195. What ended up happening was when this big spike came, the C triggered the stop loss at 190. Right, whereas the P just fell to 65 rupees. So P just lost somewhere around 40 rupees, 45 rupees, whereas C gained somewhere around 85 rupees. So what this ended up doing, so we were long on 2000 quantity, and as soon as that happened, we went to a huge loss of around 70 to 80,000. We were holding on to a hedge leg, and what we ended up doing around 2 o'clock, again we took one more entry at 35,000. So 35,000 short straddle again at 2 o'clock. So this was done at the range of 90 and 90. We had placed the stop loss at 170 and 170 for both. So again there was a spike, and again the stop loss got triggered. So when two times the stop loss got triggered, right, our profits went all the way from negative 70k to almost 1,40,000. So I'll just clear the screen so you'll get a better understanding. So we'll quickly see what are the positions that we are left with. So at 1 o'clock we had entered 34,900 short straddle. Our call leg hit the stop loss in this spike. So we are left with 34,900 put options, and we are also left with hedge legs. So we had hedged with 35,300. So we are left with the hedge legs. And then 2 o'clock we had again made an entry during this spike. 35,000 call option triggered the stop loss, which means we are only left with 35,000 put options, plus we also have a hedge leg at 35,200. So here at 35,200 we also have a hedge leg. So that means what are we left with, and our M2M is negative 1,40,000. So around the range of 1,40,000 to 2 lakh actually. And so what are we hoping for? Since we have these legs open, so what are we hoping for? Bank Nifty to make an up move. So when Bank Nifty continues upwards, so anyways we have these P legs shorted, plus we have hedge legs. So when hedge legs end up gaining, we will make some recovery, and we might also go to profits. So this is what we expected. But when this spike came, our losses went from almost 200k all the way down to 70k. So then the market started falling, again coming down. So that's the reason what I did was, again when the loss went to 1,40,000 or 140k, I ended up booking everything. I exited all these legs, I exited all these legs, I ended up booking everything. So why did I end up booking everything for 1,40,000? That is because I wanted to take a trade after 3 o'clock, risking 1 lakh. When I booked everything, my loss was 1,40,000, and I was okay with risking another 1 lakh, because overall loss would just come to 2.5 lakh, which is 1% of my capital, and I'm quite comfortable having this loss. So that's the reason I end up booking everything, and I decide to take a trade after 3 o'clock. Usually if you see 8 out of 10 times, the trades which we take after 3 o'clock on an expiry day will either help us boost the profits or help us reduce our losses. But not today. So today it actually gave us a loss of 1 lakh. So what exactly happened? At 3 o'clock, I saw market consolidating around this range. So what I expected was, okay, markets might end up trading around between the range of 35,100 and 35,000. So this was my expectation, but unfortunately I was proved wrong. So what did I end up doing at 3 o'clock? I ended up shorting, or I ended up creating a short straddle at 35,100 as well as 35,000. So I ended up creating two short straddles at 35,100 and 35,000. So what happened at this point is I had shorted both of this around the range of 25 and 25, and I had kept a stop loss for this at 55 rupees. And this, what ended up happening was I had kept a stop loss for call option at 150 rupees. So because it was already trading at around 100 rupees, so I had kept a 50 point room, and I had kept a stop loss at 150 rupees. So now let's see what happened. So 35,100 straddle, since C triggered the stop loss, this ended with no profit, no loss. Whereas 35,000 straddle, I lost 40 points. Why? Because 35,000 PE was around 10 points, so I got that entire 10 points. And 35,000 CE hit the stop loss at 150 and I lost 50 points. So net I ended up losing 40 points. So 40 into 2,500, which is around 1 lakh. So this is how I ended up with a total loss of 1 lakh additional to my 1,40,000 and odd. So net I ended up with a total loss of 2,50,000. So that is for today's trade. And once I ended up with a loss of 2,50,000, I just stopped trading. I could have taken some additional trades to bring it down to say somewhere around 2 lakh or 1,80,000. But there is no need to do that today itself. So I can come back and do it tomorrow. So we'll quickly look at the video and try to understand what happened. So you can see this is the Nifty trade. As I told you, I have shorted it at 45 and 30. So I have done a short straddle at 15,700 puts and calls, and I have shorted it at 45 and 30. And as we move ahead in the trade, around 1 o'clock is the next crucial moment. So you can see around 1 o'clock, we still have the same short straddle. And we also have the hedge leg here, and our profit is around 30,000 as we discussed, right? And after this, what we ended up doing is we took BankNifty entries at around 1 o'clock. So you can see, actually I added some more Nifty as well as BankNifty. So I have added some more Nifty here, as well as we also took the BankNifty entry. And this is the BankNifty entry which we have taken. So BankNifty 34,900 short straddle. So average rate is around 110. So now when the big move comes, let's see what exactly ends up happening. So when this huge move comes, you can see the M2M here. Keep following the M2M. So right now the move has not yet come and we are at a 27,000 profit. As the move starts to come, we go to a loss of 50,000 like I had mentioned. So you can see here we are almost approaching 2 o'clock, and as I mentioned, we are at a loss of around 50 to 70,000, and this is where we take the second entry. So we are almost approaching 2 o'clock, so we take the 2 o'clock entry at 35,000. So you can see here, so we take the 35,000 short straddle, and this is where we take the second hit, because now that CE also triggers the stop loss. And meanwhile, you can also see the hedge leg here. So this is the hedge leg which is open right now. And one more thing, what I end up doing is I also take a counter trade at 35,200 very soon. So that is something I forgot to mention. So as we move forward around 2 o'clock, so you can see that I have a couple of entries here. So I have shorted 35,000 option 2,500 quantity, so around the range of 85 rupees. I have a short straddle at 35,000, and sorry guys, not 35,200, 35,100 call option as a counter trade. So now you can see it is very well balanced. So these two are 42 and these two are 80 and 80, so they are very well balanced. So I take a counter trade at 35,100, and you can see my loss is just around 66,000. And now when the second stop loss triggers, my loss goes to almost 1,50,000. So you can see here my second stop loss is triggered around 222, and this is when my loss goes to 1,55,000. And as the market starts to recover and go above 35, 120, 130, my loss slowly starts to recover, and as I mentioned, it will come back to around 80,000 to 70,000. So as we move forward, and the loss also goes to around 2 lakh, and as the market recovers, you can see here my loss slowly starts to recover, and I come to around 70,000, 80,000 loss. So you can see here my loss drops all the way to 76,000, and again from here what happens, so you can see here market is around 35, 155. I have two short legs, 34,900 put shorted, 35,000 put shorted, and I have hedge legs open. As I told you, we were expecting if the market shoots up, our hedge leg is going to give profit. So now what happens, the market reverses. So when the market reverses, our loss again goes back to 1 lakh and odd. So you can see that our loss touches 1 lakh, and I finally decide to book everything at a loss of 1,45,000. So at this point, I come out of all the trade, and now I expect let it become 3 o'clock. After 3 o'clock, let me enter one more trade and let me try to recover it. But unfortunately, my 3 o'clock trade also goes completely wrong. Right, here you can see guys, I end up doing 35,100. So it's around 3.2 now, and I end up doing 35,100 short straddle as well as 35,000 short straddle. It's around 3.2, and this is where this 35,000 short straddle goes completely wrong. So you can see the current traded price here. If you can try to see, it's around 107 and 3 rupees only, and this is at around 22 and 26. So I have kept a stop loss around 55. So this is where things go terribly wrong for us. Right guys, so you can see that I have entered the short straddle here, and I also have some hedge legs here. So hedge leg is mainly for margin benefit. So here are the main short straddles, and my loss is 1,53,000, and here is where things go completely wrong. So you can see here as we approach 3.6, so it's just around 2 minutes since we entered the trade. So it's just not 2, around 4 minutes since we entered the trade, and our loss hits 2,50,000, and I come out of all the trades. So this is how I ended up booking 2,47,000 loss today. And what do we get to learn from this? Sometimes you do get a loss. So today we didn't do specifically any mistake as such, but it is just a normal loss which you face. Even though you do right things, you are going to have loss. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live trading video, and we'll be catching up tomorrow again with a new live trading video on Friday.